I am back in action. We got back yesterday. I'm grateful we got back earlier, around 1 o'clock in LA. I was in bed by 6 p.m. and I got up at 7:30. I woke up at 2 o'clock, but I went back to bed. I slept so well. There is nothing like your own bed, man. Talk about, just the creature comforts. You prefer certain things, and it's always good to get out, different parts of the world, experience new things, and I love that, right? When we were driving home, it's like looking at the burbs, right, where I live right now. It's not walkable, right? Even Los Angeles, like when I lived there, it's not a walkable city, there's places in maybe even in the downtown area or certain places in every city across the United States, but it's nothing like Europe. Europe City, small, Rome, Paris, just the smaller cities, hubs, the small streets. You can walk to the markets. You don't need a car, right? Especially in California, you need a car. So it's just interesting to get back. I'm driving today for the first time, and it's just a different lifestyle. It's about preferences. Of course, I'm used to this lifestyle, but it's always good to shake things up, and I definitely needed that. So I feel so rejuved. I slept so well. I had points that I could do my drink. So yeah, I got the cream. I did. It's delicious. But you know what I do? I love black coffee. I really do. So the creamer will be a treat. The half and half, or even the full cream, will be a treat at times. But this is definitely a treat. And the conveniences, I think I mentioned it in another video, but using the restroom. If you know me, I have an overactive bladder. I got it checked out. I'm fine. I'm healthy. Things just flow through me, let's just put it that way. And my dad too, but he's at a certain age, so that just happens. But my mom was making fun of us at how often we had to use the restroom. Like, that was our first question wherever we went: is there a restroom? And of course, in different parts of the world, many parts of the world, it's just not as convenient. You have to pay for the restroom. There's not public restrooms. You have to have coins. You have to have change. And there are big lines. And I ain't about that life. You know what I'm saying? We found ourselves not drinking as much water because you couldn't do it. It's just not convenient. Maybe my bladder would get used to that if I lived there. But anyways, so I'm just grateful that even, when I went and picked up my coffee, I could use the restroom. It's beautiful. It's fresh. Everything's there ready for you. And even when you pay for restrooms in some places, like most places, they're not even nice. They're they ain't got toilet paper. It's oh. Anyways, that's my one complaint. But other than that, I'm happy to be back home. I already unpacked. I still got to do a lot of laundry. But I'm at my park, my office that I always go to. And I am just looking forward to spending time here, reading, journaling, getting back to my daily routine, making my videos, getting on my calls, seeing my beautiful clients. And I always do this work, right? The mindset work, keeping my mind fresh. But it's always great to get that inspiration. I definitely do feel rejuvenated, inspired for sure. Oh my gosh, just the amazing inspiration. And especially with family, right? But anytime you travel, even if it's with friends and then you're out in the public especially when you're in places that have high traffic of tourists, like we were in super touristy places, but everybody was so patient. We had such a lovely experience. And I know that's not the experience for everybody. Call it attraction, call it positive mental attitude, or the reticular activating system. Like, I weeded out anything that wasn't good, but it was such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure. Everybody was so patient. Everybody was so nice. Everybody was so respectful, especially of my parents, getting them seats whenever we were in public places. Everybody was just patient. You're literally walking in crowds like cows, like cattle. And nobody was rude or snappy or impatient or nothing. There was a couple outskirt meltdowns of families that I saw, but that happens, especially when you travel, especially with kids, But they were teenagers. I saw a couple teenage meltdowns, but that's to be expected, age and stage. But you really gotta have, I always say this, be careful with who you travel with, right? Whether it be friends, family, chosen family, partners. Everybody deals with things differently. Everybody has a different threshold, a different window of tolerance, especially when you're in new places and you're out of your comfort zone and you're in the unknown, or, just trying to figure things out. People deal with things differently, and you just have to have patience. We did so well. I am so proud of us, me and my mom and my dad, but we get along so well. We really do. Of course, there was a couple days where there was snappy days, but you get over that. You don't take it personal. You just move on. But it's so funny to see, it's so easy to get passive aggressive with one another. If we're trying to find directions, well, you said it was this way. And you just take that opportunity to let your aggression out. I was no, we're not going to be having this. And we just laugh at it. It's just so funny. It's just so lovely to travel and just be around, live with people who are nice. Who are kind, who are considerate, who take responsibility for their own energy and emotions and behavior. I mean, there was a couple times where I had to say, look, my window of tolerance is this small, and we have safe words. Whenever we can't handle, we have a safe word that we say, and we don't question it, and we don't take it personal. So we had to pull that out a couple times. But other than that, it goes away immediately, and it was just such a pleasure. So, and no matter how much I travel, and I don't really travel that much. I mean, I guess I do. At least I did last year, mostly for work, but it doesn't matter. Anytime I'm on an airplane, no matter what. Yes, airplanes are safe. It's wonderful, but it's just so amazing. It never ceases to amaze me when you're at the airport and you just see these big planes. Especially when you do longer hauls, like those planes are very large, Marge. Like some of them are 2 stories and stuff. It's like, wow. When I was walking off yesterday, just looking at the plane we got off of, I'm just so grateful. I was like, in my mind, I was like, thank you. Thank you to everybody at this airport. Thank you for all the maintenance. Thank you for all of the flight attendants, the pilots, everybody that makes this possible, because even though we are technologically advanced, I still always feel so vulnerable when I'm in the air, hanging 36,000 feet in the air, just flying over the ocean, especially when it's across that big ocean. I'm like, geez. And when there's turbulence too, but like, and I'm not a nervous or anxious flyer. Like I'm used to it. Like I've been through all of that stuff, but you never know. It's like no one is exempt and an exception to the rule of, things that can happen. So I just had extra gratitude. And plus maybe because I was with my parents, and my mom was like, there was turbulence. She's like, is this normal? I'm like, yes. She's flown, but not a lot. It was just such a treat. I watched 3 Harry Potters. So little by little, I've been trying to watch more fiction, right? Because I am always reading nonfiction. I do not read fiction or fantasy or even watch any TV, but I'm like, I have been leaning more into just relaxing and getting into my imagination. I mean, of course I use my imagination with my work, but really just relaxing a little bit, because especially with the work I do, I can get a little caught up in the mindset and the psychology, and everything that I listen to and read is nonfiction. It's more sciencey or spiritually based, all the podcasts and stuff. So it's really nice to get into it. Anyways, I say all that to say that remember I was watching the Harry Potter. I was going to do a Harry Potter marathon, but it has taken me almost since the beginning of the year. And I watched the first one, the second one. Actually, I lied. I think they just had the 3rd one in the movie theater a few months ago, and I went and saw it, and then I just started watching the rest of them. So I watched 4 a couple months ago, and then I watched right before I left the other one. Anyways, I had 3 more left. I think there are 7 total Harry Potter movies. So I watched on the way home yesterday the Half-Blood Prince, and then part 1 and part 2 of the Deathly Hallows. That took almost the whole flight, but I forgot how good they were. Like I've watched the first 4 or 5 multiple times because they're just happier. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, you might not be, so you're missing out. I didn't really watch the last 3 a lot because they get dark, man. They get dark. But I forgot how it ended. I mean, I honestly forgot how it ended. So it was such a treat to watch it yesterday. And there's so many great metaphors for life. Just like any good movie, they're all based on archetypes and themes, right? The hero's journey, very Star Wars, Joseph Campbell-esque. The battle between the light and the dark. And it's just great to see those metaphors. And it's just so fun. I love that world. I love fantasy. I love it. But it's like it really mirrors life. There's so many parallels to life in movies. That's why I love movies. Also, my parents had never seen Gladiator. My dad had like the original OG 2000 Gladiator, Russell Crowe. I think my dad has seen parts of it, but my mom had never seen it anyway. So when we were in Rome, we went to the Colosseum, and my mom's like, I want to watch Gladiator. So we rented it when we were there after we got home, and it was just like, damn, that movie slaps. That was, maybe still is, my favorite movie of all time. I was 16 when I saw that. I will never forget. I went to the movie theater and I saw it twice. And I was such a mess. But I'm a big film score buff. And I love, was it Hans Zimmer that did Gladiator? And I love James Horner too. God bless him. R.I.P. He died in a plane crash, didn't he? But Hans Zimmer. I love film scores, symphonic film scores to be exact. They just make a movie. But yeah, that movie, wow. So good. And to watch it the day after you went to the Colosseum, it was just so special anyways. So we were living our best tourist life, and there's just so much to see, so much inspiration, so much beauty, and so much history, But I'm glad to be back, and I'm glad to be inspired to continue to create. I'm going to dive more into, of course, creating my videos. I've been off that train, but it's always good to reset and recalibrate, right? Know what you want. I have my journal here, and I'm going to go deep into, what I want for myself for the next few months. The weather is beautiful. Wow, I forget how dry it is. Like California definitely is a desert, and right when we got off, it was just so crisp and fresh. And I don't know if it's a little more humid over there. It felt like it was a little more humid, a little muggy. I know that, especially here in the States, we love our AC. And you could feel it right when you got off, man, at LAX. It was just so crisp and cold. And it's not like that. Even in the Ubers that we were there, it's like, can you turn out the AC, man? I mean, it's decent. It's like room temp. I say that the weather there metaphorically is like a room temp beer or like a room temp water, but like here it's like cold and crispy, right? And I prefer that, you know, especially when it's hot. But what an absolute treat. I can't wait to share more of our fun journeys. It was so lovely. And again, I think I said in the last video, we were sick, man. Like, it was a cold. My mom took a COVID test when she got home because I was like, oh my God, what if we straight up had COVID all up when we were over there? But it was negative. It was not. And I feel fantastic now. I have still a little bit of a runny nose, but having a positive mental attitude about no matter what happened. Oh, also the old me, and this is why I know mindset works. I was so, like, I wanted so much control over the experience of specific things. Like, for example, when we couldn't get into the Sistine Chapel because of the conclave, but it was great. It didn't matter. Like, we could go back. An old me would have been so like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset. Oh, I'm taking my parents here for the first time. I've seen it. They haven't seen it. I want to see it again, right? It's so gorgeous and beautiful. And of course it's closed. No, I didn't even let my mind go there. And it was still wonderful. It was still lovely. And then when we were in Rome, we had gone to Florence for the day, and the big church, what is it? The Santa Maria? Forgive me. I don't know what it's called, but it's the big one in Florence. The Duomo, right? The outside, I think, is the best part because it's so ornate and it's such a gorgeous building itself, but it was closed because it was Sunday, and I just let it roll right off my back. It didn't matter. I mean, every church is beautiful, but once you've been in one church, you've been in, like, it's overwhelming. You know, you can only take so much of this amazing architecture because it all ends up to blend in the same. But of course we went to St. Peter's Basilica, and that was just epic. Oh, so gorgeous. At first I was a little bummed. I was like, what the hell? The church is closed. It's Sunday, whatever. Anyway, but we could see the outside and it was gorgeous. So that happened. And then when we went to the Fountain de Trevi, there was no water in it. They were cleaning it, but of course the sculpture in the background, it was absolutely gorgeous. But I was like, what a bummer, man, for people, because I had been there before and I had seen the fountain in action, but it's like, God, people that travel, and maybe it's the only time they're ever going to travel, and the fountain was closed. It's like, do they tell us ahead of time that these things are going to happen? But anyways, we just got gelato and walked around the streets, and we went to a really great restaurant over in that area, Piazza Navona or whatever. We cannot control what happens, especially when we are traveling or on vacation, but it's just a reminder to remain positive, have a positive mental attitude no matter what happens, because things don't always go according to plan. It reminds me of when it was in 2020 and my little sister Sabrina, she was graduating, and all the kids that year that were graduating from high school, they didn't walk. They didn't have a ceremony. Can you imagine? Like, I would have been pissed if I was in high school and I didn't get to have a graduation. It's like, you look forward to that. It's such a big milestone moment to graduate, and they didn't have one because everything was shut down. But that same year, I was graduating from my graduate program, and I had my cap and gown ready to walk. Our ceremony was canceled too. I never got to walk for my grad ceremony. I remember I had to let it go. Also, I had invested in this big in-person event with Bob Proctor. We were going to go to his house and everything, and it got canceled too. They ended up doing it online, and at first I was like, oh, heck no, I didn't pay all this money to do this online. But right away I changed my mindset, and it ended up to be one of the best things ever. And it was his last one he ever did before he passed. So it's all about whether you're traveling, whether it's things in life, things don't go your way. Can you adjust and adapt and let it go and know that it's going to be okay no matter what? And yes, of course, be bummed if something doesn't go your way. Like, yeah, I was bummed I didn't get to walk in my ceremony. My family didn't get to celebrate me and all that stuff. But life goes on. And what am I going to be mad about? You can't change it. I couldn't change it. There's nothing you can do to change it. Cry, be upset, and just let it go. So it's in things like this, you know, when crisis hits, character is revealed in the moments of crisis. When things don't go right, character is revealed. And let me just preface that, not character, your programming is revealed during moments of crisis or when things go wrong. Your programming is revealed. Do you crumble? Do you fall apart? Do you act out? Do you feel like a victim? And that's okay if we do for a little bit, but do we perpetuate it? Are we able to let it go and get over it? Is our programming set to, like, you know what? I'm going to be okay no matter what. I'll get another opportunity. Something greater is going to happen. I'm going to be fine no matter what. So definitely this trip just highlighted the wonderful, wonderful mindset. And I'm so grateful to have all of my teachers and coaches and community at the Napoleon Hill Institute and everywhere. And it's just so wonderful to be a part of positive, like-minded communities and people. Because what's the option? What's the choice, right? Being negative and being in a nasty mindset. Anywho, all right, I'm going to go on a walk and I'm going to do some reading and journaling. And I'm so happy to be home.